Hello and welcome to Pakistan Day Special. I'm Farukh Pitafi. We are celebrating Pakistan Day today, and it has been quite a long journey for this country, but finally it seems that the direction of this country is in shape. Now we are moving ahead, and it seems that we have the priorities right. But today we are going to talk about the journey so far, and we are going to talk about the vision for tomorrow as well. And in today's program, I have very august company. So I will be asking about what has been the quality of journey so far, what we have lost, what we have gained. And then we are going to talk about the coming days, what should be done so that things start moving in the right direction. In order to help us understand these issues, we are honored to have with us Lieutenant General retired Talat Masood Saab, a defense analyst, needs no introduction. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Next to him is Asma Qadeer Sahiba, who is an MNA, a lawmaker of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, the ruling party. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being part of the program. To my left is Tajammul Altaf Saab, former ambassador, career diplomat, also belongs to a think tank. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. General Saab, I have to start with you. If you look at the overall journey so far, what do you think we have achieved? Do you think that we are very close to the idea for which Pakistan was created today?
I think the journey has been rather very difficult. We have gone through some very difficult times, very trying times. But on the whole, I think we have, at this point, we think that we have crossed the hurdles.
Okay.
And, you know, these 71 years, because I have seen them right through from the first day onwards till today. So I'm a witness to the problems that Pakistan faced.
On the day one?
On the day one till today.
Awesome.
So I think I'm very privileged in that sense that my life is, I'm older than Pakistan. So that helps a lot in trying to view Pakistan, how it has developed.
Okay.
My assessment is that let us look at it more objectively. As far as democracy is concerned, I think we started off well, then we faltered. We had a huge problem of East and West Pakistan, which we were not able to resolve.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, we had to part with each other. And that was rather unfortunate. We think we could have done that in a much better way. But apart from that, we also had, you know, more than about nearly four spells of military rule.
Right.
And that showed that, you know, Pakistan was not fully prepared for a democratic evolution. It is only after sort of faltering, you know, and having four military rulers that we were able to now step into democracy in a way.
But now we are a democratic government.
So I think in that way, we have definitely progressed. Although our democracy, we cannot say is mature. It has many failings and many weaknesses. But yet, I think we have done well, but we need to sort of strengthen our institutions.
Right.
The democracy, I would say, is in the making, and we should see where our, as far as the economy is concerned, I think that is the greatest challenge that Pakistan faces.
Right.
We need to be self-sufficient, and to be self-sufficient, we need to sort of improve our taxation regime and so on and so forth.
Right.
Which,
and we are going to talk about that, sir. Let me go to Asma Qadeer Sahiba. Ma'am, your understanding of what we have gained, what we have lost so far.
Thank you so much for inviting me in your on this blessed day. Well, I see, Farukh, that the way I see Pakistan recently, Pakistan has entered in an era which is, for me, is a very blessed time of Pakistan. We've got a leadership who is very honest, dedicated, and very much passionate about lifting Pakistan from a base that was like for the last 30 decades, Pakistan was suffering and couldn't, lost the direction as well. The direction that was set in 1940, with the resolution of Pakistan, right? So I see as that at least we have entered in an era, we've got the direction, and inshallah, as far as the previous regimes or previous eras concerned, I see a lot of hope. There were so many problems, as you all know, we experienced, and especially like the economical situation, which for the last 6 months, we have
actually not merely last 6 months, last 72 years.
72 years. So,
economics has been the same.
Yeah, you can say it, but like it might be the same. But as for me, you know, seeing growing up and seeing Pakistan, it has after the EU, the things went very. It was not in favor of like Pakistan. So Pakistan, the progression I feel was after the era EU was stopped, especially Ziaul Haq, after the era of Ziaul Haq. But after that, now it was 30 years. There was not, I didn't see any good situation where I can see Pakistan was progressing, or it was all Pakistan was fighting others' war, and so much it faced terrorism and all. So, you know, it was very much on chaotic. Now Pakistan is out of chaotic.
When I come back to you, I'm going to ask if it was a roller coaster ride so far. What convinces you that it is over and now we have moved into stable times? But let me first go to Tajammul Saab. So your take on what we have lost, what we have gained so far.
Farukh Saab, thank you so very much also providing me this opportunity to be here with you and your audience. We are commemorating a very important day in the political history of Pakistan today, which was one of the main 3 milestones, the one which was set by Allama Iqbal in his Allahabad address in 1930, giving an idea of a separate homeland for the Muslims of the subcontinent. And the second landmark or milestone given by Qaeid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah himself in Lahore, 23rd March, day of today in 1940, setting a direction for the Muslims of the subcontinent to emerge as a nation. And then, of course, the third milestone, the independence which we got. So this is a day of remembrance, felicitation, and also a day of remembrance what we have got or lost. Our balance sheet, of course, is not on an even keel. There are more downs and a few ups. And if I take downs, as very aptly commented by General Talat Saab and Sahiba, of course it was not a consistent flow of our events. Starting, not having a democratic journey from the beginning. And we took a very long time to translate the vision of Qaeid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah
into a constitution,
to even frame a constitution, and then framing even a legislature which can, of course, start lawmaking and all that. And then, of course, military dictatorships in this country and weak political institution which was never nurtured. And economy was the most vulnerable part of this country, which remained and still is the biggest challenge. So, keeping all that in view, the way Pakistani nation took up the moment, seized the moment, and they were committed to move forward. You will not forget, Farukh Saab, the commentary is coming from all over the world that Pakistan is a country which will not survive even for 6 months.
Only 5 years ago. No, actually 5 years ago, when APS Peshawar happened, everybody said that the country is gone.
And even at the time of creation of Pakistan, even before the creation of Pakistan and soon after the creation of Pakistan, it was a willful or wishful thinking that Pakistan is not going to survive even for 6 months.
Maulana Abul Kalam Azad and umpteen others like Sardar Patel, everybody predicted doom.
And the way Qaeid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah predicted in 1948 while giving an interview to Time magazine that Pakistan is going to be pivot of the world, which we are talking today. So this long, arduous journey have so many downs and few ups, But at the end of the day, if we are surviving as a nation after 72 years of this day's commemoration, this is easy to say a resilient nation.
It is a resilient
and
nation.
The way we faced all the challenges, especially after 9/11 till today, and the way now we are coping up to emerge as a nation in the present PTI government, and we are committed, dedicated towards a bright future. Very few nations have gone through that sort of arduous experiences. So,
big adventures actually.
This is
survived.
This is a roller coaster ride, which we are continuing.
It is continuing
with hope and aspiration, and of course focusing our energy on right things, what we have to do for a better future for Pakistan.
General Sahab, let us branch out now. Let us talk about your speciality as well, the security of the country, the defense of the country. How do you study the defenses of the country right now, after 80 years of idea of Pakistan and after 72, 73 years of creation of Pakistan? Do you think our defenses are strong? Recently we saw some crisis with India, and my first time after quite some time we felt that we are victorious. How do you see the situation now, sir? Our security, our defenses.
I think our security has always been a great challenge for Pakistan. The integrity of Pakistan has always been threatened. And I think, as you know, we went through 3 major wars. And in one war, we were even disintegrated. So I think this has been the greatest challenge from India, even till today. I mean, even if, as we stand today, we are still under threat from India in certain forms, as we witnessed only a few weeks back. So we can imagine that we have, in a way, Pakistan in these last 72 years has experienced a lot of hostility from India. And also the neighborhood has been extremely disturbed as a result of global politics, including the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, the Cold War, and then events after 9/11 and so on. So we have been the epicenter in a way, this whole region, and also Pakistan playing a very major role in that. And we have suffered because of that.
Epicenter out of chance or out of choice?
Well, I think it is our geography, in fact, has been to a large extent.
We live in a very tough neighborhood.
A tough neighborhood. At the same time, I think we also were born in hostility in a way, as you very rightly enumerated, the way that India always thought that we would not last for too long, and continued to sort of work towards that. Even today, I mean, if you come to think of it, look at the conditions in Afghanistan, look at the hostility of India, look at the sort of pressures on Iran by the superpowers, and look at the role of the United States itself in Afghanistan. All these contribute towards...
And then there's the talk of the new Cold War between America and China. China is also a neighbor.
Yeah, China. So I think, but I think on the whole we have done very well, considering the great challenges that we faced. And now there is a great hope in the sense that our institutions are getting stronger. We need to sort of further strengthen our institutions. And then, as you asked a very good and a very central question as to how to sort of see to it that our future is much brighter than the past. And for that, I think we need strengthening our institutions, moving towards truly the democratic path, and then pursuing policies, which we are doing at the moment, trying our best anyway, to have as much good neighborly relations, and try to focus on our economy, the betterment of our people, work for their improvement in their lives, and really concentrate on alleviating poverty and becoming economically independent.
Wow,
I think
that's a long list, by the way.
It's a long list, but it is one of those things without which you cannot aspire to be a normal nation. Otherwise, you will always be dependent on others and will be always exploited by others. Remember this, unless you have a self-sustaining economy, reasonably self-sustaining economy, you will always be exploited by others. So the fact that even if you are a nuclear power, if you have all the military at your disposal, it really negates that.
Yeah, especially given the example of Soviet Union.
And all other leave
had
aside,
a long, huge-
it's our own experience. Today, you know, we are going and begging all, you know, countries.
Let us not call it begging.
Begging or whatever, asking.
It is contribution. But I'm glad that General Sahab, ma'am, actually mentioned this long list of priorities, because that is more or less the mandate of your government as well. These are the promises on which you ran your campaign and got elected. Now, while Army, Air Force, Navy have shown us what they are capable of and how they are defending, it comes down to the politicians of the country and how they are going to deliver. How do you rate the current political class? And I'm not merely talking about your party. I'm talking about the quality of parliament and the members of other parties as well.
The quality, right, I feel like not judging them, it will be very judgmental.
Okay.
So
Your party never actually pulled any punches, so why now?
Yes, but okay, you know what I feel is that it is the ethos of, like, let me begin with this.
Yeah.
This is the ethos of every nation is to ponder about their existence, the reasons and justification of their existence. As far as our leadership is concerned, as far as the politician where I sit, especially of my party, I know them very well. So we ponder about our existence, why the reasons, the justification of existence of Pakistan.
Okay.
Number one.
So primarily idea of Pakistan.
Yes.
Not dream of Pakistan?
No, dream of Pakistan,
Okay.
exactly. Why?
Dream that we see today or that we
No,
saw
it was,
in 1940?
no, the dream we haven't achieved yet.
Okay.
What dream we haven't achieved yet. We are struggling for it. And definitely we set, every time what I see is, all right, people set their direction to achieve the Qaid-e-Azam dream. Everybody struggled because of the different scenario, because of the political and other, what you can, interference of the international powers and so on. Things sometimes go, sometimes lose their track.
Derail, right?
Right.
We
okay?
get distracted.
But what you know what, I get the hope every time. Why? Because the way I analyze, if I tell you, the way Pakistan was created without any war. All right, the people, those who actually struggled, they were martyred.
Yeah.
But at least we didn't have war. And then at the same time, I don't know whether these giants are gonna correct me if I'm right or not, that in the history of Muslims, I studied or assessed that there are two things happened in the history of Muslims, and that was one when Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam conquered Mecca without any war, right? And everybody was like, all people were living, belonging to different religion. They were just like, I just feel like, you know, the Pakistan was.
And now you're talking about creation of Pakistan, right? And
it,
here too, we didn't see that kind of violence leading up to the creation of Pakistan.
So
it might be a reaction to it, but it was fought and won peacefully.
But this is, you know, these two beautiful things happened in the history of Muslims. For that, you know, what I feel is that what was missing, that every time that our generation is reminded, but the generation were not made to think, to ponder, that the reason now, I think, is it has become vital to make them
I'm very
ponder.
glad that you're talking about reflection. That is very important.
Yeah.
But
so
I asked you to actually rate the quality of lawmakers and the politicians.
And the qualities are like from among, you know, the way
Do you see
they come, the quality the people that
okay, let me ask you, how is the human resource in politics?
Excuse me?
How is the human resource in politics? Because Pakistan is competing with other countries. And we have politicians, there must be politicians all over the world. So our politicians compete with theirs. How do you rate where our human resources?
Okay, well, to tell you the truth, honestly, okay, I'm not going to, it's like favoring my party, but really in the past, the political scenario, I hardly saw a very quality kind of politicians like Bhutto was a great leader, isn't it? So we have Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto as well. Now we've got Imran Khan.
Are they great because they died too soon, or are they great because they really contributed to the country?
No, they contributed at least. You know, everybody has a flaw. I have a flaw.
I was actually hinting at another thing.
As far as I know,
the only heroes we like are dead heroes for some reason. We don't like the living heroes, right?
No, yeah, that's the dilemma. Yeah,
it is.
But I think the more our elders gonna make them realize, our new generation, this is the job of the schools and the teachers and other curriculum and all that.
We appreciate the people who are living and to create more heroes.
More, yes, please.
And that is true. Tajammul Saab, since I'm talking to each participant about their field, you are a career diplomat and an intellectual. Tell me, where are we at regarding Pakistan's diplomacy?
Well, Farukh Saab, I have served in 7 countries and visited more than 75 countries in my diplomatic career before and after as well. I can safely say Pakistani diplomats are indeed among the top diplomats in the world. And I can confidently say that. The way I have been interacting with the world diplomats, even Americans or Russians or Chinese or French, you name them, and the countries wherever I served, including China. My take is that Pakistan is in fact not running short of or not lagging behind in terms of talent, intellect, knowledge, and know-how. While saying that, I can confidently say that talking to my interlocutors in different capitals or talking to diplomats of various countries, I was always satisfied with performance of Pakistani diplomats and the way they were putting across the case of Pakistan on different fora was really very well prepared. That was about diplomats. But coming to my own country, people are looking at the people of all those countries, whichever I visited or I served, I can safely say Pakistanis are among the best talented people.
Right.
The problem is where we are unable to channel or channelize their talent, their quality, and their standards, bringing them or harnessing them in accordance with the needs of the nation.
Right.
This is mismanagement.
That is true, but one clarification. My question to ma'am was about human resource. I was asking about overall, direction of the foreign policy and diplomacy in this country. Do you think that we are at a place where we wanted to be, or we still have a long journey to go?
Comparing it with the last 72 years, there is still a lot of room for improvement. There is absolutely no doubt. But the way our youth, the way our people have understood the realities around them, the way they have groomed and updated themselves, the way they are learning what is happening around them is an amazing story.
And that actually brings me to the next point. We are living with 2 countries that are very effective in their media and intellectual blitz. India keeps on marketing itself, pushes an image of very culturally diverse country. China was lagging behind, and then it came up with the Confucius Institute. Why is it that we have a lovely story, and I totally agree with you, but why is it that we haven't been able to tell the world how beautiful Pakistani people are? Because in past 5 years ago, the impression was that somehow we are very angry people, maybe we are very destructive ones. So where are we, what are we missing in telling that story? Is it only Foreign Office? Is it something else? It is the language issue, imagination issue? What exactly is wrong?
We are not marketing ourselves in an appropriate way.
Okay.
We are not selling our narrative in an appropriate way. We are not doing our homework properly, and we are not projecting our point of view or our stories the way these should have been, as you mentioned, by China or India.
But you just praised the human resource of
Pakistan. I did. I mean,
then you are saying that we are not.
When projection thing comes, when channelizing things come, when putting all these resources at a better place or harnessing them, we are lagging behind. This was my last point.
Okay.
And then, of course, connecting it with your question. Yes, indeed, the way India is using their social media or print and electronic media, we are still far behind.
So even if you go to India and you visit them, the floral, arrangements, the way they welcome you, it has got some kind of choreography. We still have to work out the arrangement, right?
We still need to focus on that point, that start telling your stories or even lies the way Indians are telling, and world is receiving them very well, even believing them. Our stories should be told in such a way that
one daughter of this country was shot in head, and she was a young girl. She survived, and the world gave her Nobel Prize. So this is the reflection of who we are. But General Sahab, is it possible that like Confucius Center, like Iran has created Khana-e-Farang, other countries have created their own cultural, institutions abroad. Can we also invest in that kind of consulates or that kind of marketing tactics?
You see, marketing is important, but also what do you really market? What is the reality? I think you cannot ignore the reality and then you just think that the real problem is in marketing. I'm not so sure. I don't agree with that theory that Pakistan has failed to market. I have a feeling that there are many weaknesses within Pakistan that need to be addressed, and we need to be honest about them. I don't think we should really go about the bush.
Right. And with due respect, I'm not saying...
The moment we are very confrontational with our weaknesses and confront them, head on, I think Pakistan would be a changed country, would be a different country.
That is true, sir. But my point was that they are Pakistani citizens. I understand there must be umpteen weaknesses. And nobody is saying
that every country has weaknesses.
And nobody is saying that they should be hidden. If we are honest,
we can't hide them also.
If we are honest about them, we can work on them, and perhaps world can work with you as well. But we have a lovely story. The common man on the street is quite a loving man, and the world doesn't see him. When you go to a village,
but he cannot come and see him because of...
So take a foreigner to my village or your village or any village. The common man will be staring at him with a smile and a mouth wide open, yay wide, right? With fascination, and will welcome him. So the world still thinks that perhaps the minority that might be very angry, that might have held the country hostage for 15 years, in past 15 years, that is somehow the people of Pakistan, not you and I, not the common man on the street. So can't we show them?
I couldn't agree more with you that the common man is extremely hospitable, is welcoming foreigners, would love to have them, interacts with them in a very friendly manner. There are no two opinions on that. The fact remains is that you have to have an overall environment in the country to attract foreigners. And the overall environment has been missing because of our involvement, as we talked earlier. In the Afghan Jihad, then the events of 9/11, then our continuous, struggles. We lost 70,000 people. So I think all these factors did influence the thinking of those who wanted to sort of come to Pakistan as visitors.
If they don't come to Pakistan, can we take their story, our common man's story, to them?
No, I don't think I think we are mixing it up, and we cannot, we cannot compartmentalize Pakistan. There has to be a global image of Pakistan, a sort of an understanding as to what are the conditions in a country. You don't have to tell people, it happens. If the country, why do people go to Thailand? Why do people go to many...
The policies, they are important. Right?
Even those countries which are ruled by monarchs and so on and so forth, if they create conditions, you'll be surprised the amount of tourism that is taking place worldwide. I mean, it's fantastic. and the amount of tourism that is taking place in Pakistan. So I think you have
Pakistan
to
has to invest in tourism.
invest and go frontally,
Yeah.
and you try to address the problems, which I think this government is trying to do very much so.
Right.
But at the same time, it doesn't help just to talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
Others have to talk about us. You know, there is no point in just only saying we are great, we are this, we are that.
No, but I was talking about, I totally get that. When you're saying don't tell, actually show to the world.
I mean, it becomes obvious. You know, to them.
Yeah, that is true. But with due respect, I was not saying that we are just merely going to actually project an image which might not be real. What I'm saying is what you and I see, that image has to be, you know, that story has to be told. We have suffered a lot. Right. We have seen a lot of things, and it is a beautiful country that has to be showcased to the world.
With that, like, I will add into the both gentlemen were saying. Actually, to me, sir, I observed that private media has damaged Pakistan image a lot. Sorry to admit it.
Why are you saying that?
I'm saying that because they glorified the crime which used to happen at a very small place. They present it in the media in such that it's something very big happening in Pakistan, right? Especially terrorists.
They magnified it.
They magnified it. And if you go to America or another, I think the crime rate over there is so high that Pakistan cannot even stand to compete it and cannot stand close to it. So what I felt that private media has damaged Pakistan, where Pakistan...
But with due respect, is it not how media works? Look at Fox TV, look at Indian channels. Every media channel or group will be focusing on the negative news.
Okay, so they should have done it. Na? Instead of projecting Pakistan's inner, what you can say, problems to the world, they shouldn't have showed that, like, which was not important even. The way India is targeting Pakistan every day, why our private channel and our responsible channels attacked India in the same manner the way they are doing it? And I felt it very long, like somewhere in, it was 2000, I felt that we are not doing, I think the media is not doing their right job. Sorry, this is how I felt.
No, I get it. I've worked in the private sector, I've worked in the public sector.
And there were so many good things happening in Pakistan.
My humble submission is that you are saying that the way Indian media is behaving, we should be actually fighting that war.
No, we shouldn't be.
The problem is, there is universal consensus that the Indian media has gone bonkers. Okay. Should we also go mad?
No, I'm not saying that, Ghosh. I said, if you think that we have to become like India media, so the option we have, so okay, attack India. We are not supposed to attack our people or show little conflicts as projecting and magnifying them that this is the problem in Pakistan and the whole world is watching.
One of the standing committees during the previous parliament's time actually came up with the idea that whenever we are going to air something negative, there should be some positive news also highlighted during the same bullet. But nobody actually defined what a positive news is and how to present it.
No,
honestly, when I was being taught by senior journalists and my professors, they taught us that when a dog bites a man, that is not news. When a man bites a dog, that is news. So we are actually, our media is doing just that.
So
is it wrong then? What is the positive news? Can you identify?
Yeah, the positive news, look what people are doing. They're in the streets, some are making, you know, the ladies, for example, I see women crafts, the way they are beautifully making it, sitting in the home industry is what they're doing. The laborers, what they're doing. And even our students, the schools, what they're doing, great work. So why can't we show that, for example,
compliment you because we started actually discussing your field, politicians. You ended up actually making it.
No, I'm just saying there are so many good what the farmers do, how they work in the field, and how they grow crops. There's so many beautiful things in the Pakistan. Our geography. Look at
Afghanistan. It might be a good documentary program, but is it news as well?
No, you have to make it a news. How? Because there's so many people. That's the media should know, because I'm not a journalist. So I'm not a journalist.
You're the parliamentarian. You'll have to come up with some idea on that, right?
idea, you have to sit and I'll give you the
Yeah,
ideas.
the parliament has to actually, but I wanted to discuss the important role the politicians can play in marketing Pakistan's story. But I will come back to you on that, because now you have actually told me that the problem might be with the messenger, not with the message, right? The media, not the people.
Yeah, of course. If the message comes,
but Ambassador Saab, what can we do to actually? The problem right now is nobody is writing books in this country. Hardly any books. Am I only going to make documentaries to show the world what exactly has gone on, or are we going to start writing books which actually chronicle what exactly went on when we were fighting terrorism? We keep on talking about 70 to 80,000 people, their lives lost to terrorism. Who were they? How to individuate them? What was their individual story? Nobody is writing those books. How is the world going to know what sacrifices we actually gave for the sake of human civilization?
Farukh, you are absolutely right by raising this point that nationally there is a trend for not writing or reading books. And you will bear with me that even internationally, the trend of reading book is declining because of multiple resources and social media and a lot many other things coming. You know, they believe.
I can agree with
they believe.
I can agree with the national part. Since I am a book lover, I know internationally there is no dearth of good books.
Even while traveling abroad, I could make it sure. Yes. People now prefer to read something which is catchy, short, to the point, in the form of blogs, in the form of social media coverage, or a short story, instead of going in voluminous books where they are going to spend a week or so. This is but a harsh and hard reality of life. Having said that, because looked at this onslaught of media which is coming from different sources and the way people are looking, other than reading books, they are overtaken by that habit of reading and writing books. This is my opinion. You may agree or disagree.
Will you allow me to disagree with that?
This is my
this
is my perception.
Because despite all the technological advancements, J.K. Rowling manages to sell millions of her books. Dan Brown, John Grisham, and not only that, non-fiction books are being sold as well, sir. I mean, start writing books. I know how to sell them. I will sell them for you.
And then books on specific topics, subjects which are really to increase your knowledge and information on innovative technologies, artificial intelligence, and today's all that fields. I do agree, because that is part and parcel of life. But reading for the sake of fun or pleasure, of course, that is now overtaken by other media. Okay. Now, coming to this point, this is some sort of soul-searching introspection. That book reading, I am still an avid reader of books like you, and I strongly believe that if I read more, I educate myself more, and I am more well aware of the world around me. If I don't read, then I'm sitting in my cocoon and not really contributing a lot. So social trends are changing, and this is a general perception that perhaps reading the way it was done 50 odd years or centuries ago is now changing because of onslaught of all these new technologies coming.
Is it because of lack of demand that we are not writing, or chronically putting it into chronicles what exactly has happened in this country?
That standard material is also not coming. Before coming to this show, you may recall that we were talking the same limitation, where we will hardly find any standard material where you can say, yeah, this is class material, which one can.
My concern is, sirs and ma'am, that 30 years of this country's history is missing from books. Yes. We haven't actually written that history.
I feel there.
Okay. General sir.
You see, there are two different things. First, I think when we talk about ourselves as far as our writing capabilities and our culture is concerned, that's a different matter altogether. And then the other thing is the global thing you are talking about as to the trends that are there. My view is that the trend for writing continues, but of course it is also, you write on your computer, you don't have to read the book in a form of a book, you have to read it in a form of a from the computer or even from your mobile,
no,
even from
reader,
your
Kindle
mobile or
whatever.
email. So I think that has changed. That has, and then obviously, as very rightly pointed out by Ambassador, that we don't have that much of time anymore. And then also we must realize that technology has overtaken everything, and the interest and there has been so much of development worldwide that there is a huge gap between how America or the advanced countries are thinking and how those not so well developed countries are thinking. So there is also a great variation in that. Look at the type of discussions, and look at the quality of technology that is going on abroad. I mean, there are a lot of books on space, for instance, which would not interest.
Can you identify a book that tells the story of Pakistan's space program, whatever it is? I can't find a book.
Well, yeah, there may be some articles, but
people who have lived, who have ruled this country,
you have to understand,
their biographies.
But you have to understand that whosoever would write a book about this space program of Pakistan would also have to see that what investment he makes in terms of time, what sort of a readership it would have, what sort of interest would the people of Pakistan have. Maybe the certain foreigners would definitely read it because they would be wanting to know how Pakistan has progressed space-wise and how it would relate to technologies which could be detrimental to their interests or something in that sort. So that's a different matter. I think we should focus today on what you are talking about. That actually, if you are interested in books, if you are interested in education, if you are interested in research, then you would be writing more books. Pakistan lacks research. Pakistan lacks educational wide base. Pakistan lacks depth. So I think the moment we continue to sort of improve in these areas,
and we have to cultivate that depth,
areas,
right?
You would find that a lot of books would be written. But even then, I think as far as Urdu is concerned, we still are having a lot of books. But in terms of science, in terms of technology, in terms of even modern age challenges, I think that is missing.
Sir, even with Urdu books, someday you have to promise me we have to go together to a bookshop and I have to show you what kind of books are being written and they are being sold. If you don't write, we wouldn't know who is going to read or who is not going to read. We have to start documenting. Ma'am, I'm told that we are left with 4 minutes. So your contribution, you can conclude for us. Then I can take conclusion from other two.
About the day, about this.
Everything. We are talking about Pakistan, right? Our story so far.
You were talking about the reading. Look, according to as a teacher, I feel that it's the reading habit is cultivated by the teachers in the school, the learning environments, and the books and the literature that is given to the learners. So you were talking about the interest as well. The learner will take interest if it is of quality literature or having quality language, and this learner can associate with it as well. So the literature, or that's the kind of practice, or that kind of approach is no more there in the schools at all, because I feel like that that our schools and our learning environments has totally changed the direction, and they have stuck in the economical situation.
Yeah,
there
are many explanations.
There are many explanations.
Why books are not being written, right?
Yeah, I know that.
The problem is the fact
one
is
the
books
written,
are not
but
being written.
there was a time, reading habit. Unless and until we do not develop a reading habit, we will not come to a stage to write as well. Unless
next
and until,
I'm hoping next time we sit together on Pakistan Day, I want to hear any of you that I wrote a book. It wasn't sold, or perhaps it was sold well, but we have to start actually saying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a book next time once you're going to. Next year. Okay.
I'm going to see 3 books at least in the market. I will try to contribute a 4th one as well.
I also promise to give one next year.
Awesome.
Good, done.
So we have that consensus that now at least in Pakistan people. Sir, you agree with that?
Yeah.
You're going to write a book as well?
I have already written a book actually.
No, sir.
But I'm just editing it.
Okay.
So I'll publish it very soon.
And then we will be talking about that as well on that positive note. And finally we found something to actually be very happy
I would like to also conclude with one point.
Sir.
That Pakistan has a great future. And undoubtedly, and this is not false optimism, it's a genuine optimism. We have gone through the worst period. And I think Pakistan today stands in every way much better than what it was. And this is without any exaggeration, whether in terms of institutional development, whether in terms of understanding the world, whether in terms of technology, whether in terms of education. There are a lot of weaknesses, but yet in comparison, we will overcome, and that urge is there in Pakistan.
And on that positive note, I have to conclude the program. General Sahab, thank you very much for your time. Ma'am, thank you. Ambassador Sahab, thank you very much as well. Viewers, you have listened to our participants. Today, we actually wanted to, look into deeper matters, collective psyche, our imagination, our work, how we tell our story, how the world sees us. And we have tried to actually do justice to that. But one thing is for sure, Pakistan needs to tell its story, and that won't be only through these lenses. That has to be through books, that has to be through a voice, developing a voice that we need. Our neighbors, India, Chinese neighbors, even Afghans have developed some kind of voice. We have to start working on that as well. This is today's message. But as General Sahab has said, and our panel agrees, Pakistan has a great future, and we are making great strides forward. Let us hope that in coming days, when we sit together again on this day, we can tell you that we have reached where we wanted to be 80 years ago. On that positive note, on that hopeful note, we have to conclude. Thank you very much for watching us, and Pakistan Zindabad.